The wheels of my car made gravel fly behind me as I pulled up my driveway. I stepped out of my car and into the humid August night. As I pulled out my keys, I paused. Did I check the mail? A deep sigh escaped my chest as I turned around. I decided that I would just walk down the drive. I hadn't walked too much since I'd moved into the country. Everything was different from the city. I missed the bustling streets crammed with colorful people. Thoughts of my faraway home were suddenly interrupted by a rustle in a nearby bush. A rabbit came scurrying from one hiding spot into another. I hadn't noticed it before, but that night, it was quiet. The chirps of crickets and the breeze had settled down. The silence was strange to me. With no interruption of the familiar sirens and horns, silence almost had its own sound. The dark and quiet lit my imagination and spread like a wildfire. The trees around me swayed in the moonlight, sending sinister shadows to writhe along the ground. I quickened my pace, chastising myself for being such a wimp. This wasn't the city. There were no thugs or muggers, murderers or rapists wandering the night this far out. Then why did I feel so on edge? What was this incessant nagging feeling that something was very wrong? The hair on the back of my neck prickled up as I recognized the sensation. I was being watched. Although it wasn't like I was being watched by some animal in the forest. No, the eyes that I felt crawling on my back definitely belonged not to a something, but a someone. I picked up my pace more. The mailbox, my goal, was in sight. As I reached it, I sighed heavily with relief. I opened the mailbox, and there was nothing. It was Sunday. How could I have forgotten? I laughed to myself, feeling silly for being so afraid of nothing. I turned back to my house in time to see a light go on in the second-story window. The smile disappeared from my face, and I froze. That shouldn't have happened. I don't live with anyone, so there's no one there that I knew of to turn off the light. No, I know what you're thinking. The light bulb could have burned out or something else, but the thing is, I hadn't been in that room all day. I was not the one to turn the light on. And I was not the one to turn it off. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone. Dialing 911, I breathed deeply in and out, trying to calm myself. A squad car with 2 officers showed up a few minutes later and did a sweep of my house. When it was clear, they let me come in. They led me into the second-story room, telling me to be prepared for the worst. The first thing I noticed was the blood. It was everywhere. It was smeared all over the walls and floor with messy handprints. The corpse of my eviscerated dog lay in a corner. And the only way I could tell that it was my dog was by the pink collar with the name Lucy embroidered on it. That room was the only one that had been touched, even though the door going in and out of the room was unlocked and open. The nearby broken window seemed to be the point of entry and exit. The police never found any leads about who had broken into my house and killed my dog. I immediately moved into one of my friend's houses. And even though I lived far away from my old house and the surrounding woods, I still lay awake at night, wondering what would have happened if I didn't check the mail.